What is up, good people? Crypto Prepper here again on May 27th, Wednesday, May 27th. And I wanted to do a quick video on Mantle. I accidentally skipped over it and did Uniswap first, but Mantle has been around on Coinbase over a year. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, no, a bit DAO. I don't know. Okay. Hadn't seen this note before. Okay, so let's look to see here. It looks like it's been around for three three years. Higher double top there, higher high there. Um, so I went over to Coinbase and looked at this and went back to May 20. Oops, I meant to do May 28th. Yeah, May 28th here. And then I measured down on this one. I had to go down basically 70% up and 70% down to get a good coverage for this last 365 days. So I would say I would do that again. Um, and the price is basically the same as it was last year. So it went up to almost $3, and now it's back down to 64-ish cents. So here, let's look at this. As always, we have our investment of $1,000. And then what I did was I changed this to 50 from 100. And after I measured up and down, I clicked and dragged my high and low price to cover that entire spread. So you can see I'll do a back test here. As always on these grid bots, the trailing up and the pump dump protection. The trailing up, you leave that on because you want that to trail up. But the pump dump protection does not need to be toggled off, unlike the DCA bots. So you can see how even though that 70% up didn't cover all the way up here because we didn't know it was going to go up this high, it trailed up, captured some income there, and then it was able to protect it. It was maintained coverage all throughout the February 5th dip and so on. So ever since February 5th, it's basically met flat, and that February 5th just basically looks like it tested the support from back in June of 2025. So each time this bot sold with $1,000 investment, and that's each one of these red dots, you got paid 83 cents for doing nothing, just letting it do its thing. So pretty good, 23.73% on the grid bot. And then let's go over the DCA bot settings before we look at the backtest chart. So as always, we start out with $1,000. Oh, and here, this is one thing. When I looked at Mantle, it says MNT right here. And then, of course, that's what I searched for in the pairing is MNT and USD, and it didn't show up. So it's actually on Coinbase as Mantle. So you always want to make sure, especially with these lesser known coins that might have similar tickers to other ones, that the price is so right now 63 cents, and that's what it is here on CoinMarketCap. So you always want to make sure you're pulling the right pairing on the exchange so you're not getting some weird one. And maybe that doesn't, I don't know if that happens too much on Coinbase, but definitely on some of the other exchanges. If you have access to KuCoin or Binance, they're more likely to have the kind of mismatched tickers. All right, so let's look down at our bot settings here. 3125 as always as the base order amount, 968.75 as the averaging orders amount as always. Then the five averaging orders quantity gives us the 5 limit orders underneath here. The distance between those limit orders for this one was 7. And the amount multiplier is turned to X2. So if you are curious more about those numbers and why this is set up, just watch the one I posted earlier about Uniswap, and it'll make more sense. Okay, so the step multiplier is off, and then the take profit percent is 5%. Then we want to make sure under this risk management tab here that we turn off our pump dump protection. And then this one was weird because I tried to do a 365-day back test, but I'll show you what it looks like here when I change it back to 365. But I had to modify it a little bit. So this is not quite 365 days. It's only 321, but it still gave me a pretty great APY at 32.5%. And who knows if it's going to go up this high again? Nobody knows what any of these things are going to do, really. Um, Especially I don't know much about Mantle and what it does or whatever. But you can see the other thing I look for is a continuation with our limit orders underneath here. And then the last thing I look for is the distance between activity. So here we had to go from November 15th all the way to December 15th or December 13th to see any action. So that's a month, and that's about as long as I'd like to see. I would like to keep it down to 2 weeks, but it can't really be avoided. And then the next gap we had was here between January 31st and March 16th. So we went uh, basically all of February and halfway through March before we're seeing any activity. But when we did see the activity, oh, that was in May 10th. I think that was a pretty good payday. So even though you had to wait a month and a half for it, March 15th. So, oh, here we go. It was March 16th actually. You got paid $50, 49.96. So, because the bot was fully vested at this time, one, two, three, four, five, six orders altogether, and that's why it didn't pick up that last little dip on the 5th of February. But nonetheless, you got paid $50 for waiting, and then it restarted itself and continued to make you money and then got paid another $25 on May 10th when it popped up. So that's Mantle for you, and hopefully this helps you in your bot making journey. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, uh, give me a thumbs down. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the channel. And if you have a favorite coin, leave it for me in the comments and we'll run a back test for you. Figure out some bot settings. So here, if I click this 365, that takes me back to May 27th. For some reason, when I run this back test, and this doesn't usually happen on Coinbase, I see it more frequently running back tests on Kraken. But the way I figured that out is I just ran the button and then found if I take it back to I think the 10th was the cutoff, 10th or 11th of July. Yeah, so if I went back to July 9th, then it pulls a zero again. So I don't know if that's just because the volume on this coin is was low at that point. It's hard to tell based on these little lines down here at the bottom for our volume, but I think currently it's like $200,000 day volume. So back then it may not. Yeah, looks like we hit a little spike there in volume about that. So maybe it just wasn't enough volume a few days before that. Who knows? But anyway, 32.5% is pretty good. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.